can't see whether or not this is showing up on the live group. I'm just going to test and see whether or not it's coming up. It doesn't seem to be showing up as I'm coming live. Ah, right. Okay, start watch part. There we go. Okay, great. So I am Susie Berry. I run Serene Senses, and for the past few weeks I have been doing a different meridian every day, every Monday specifically, and I've been doing a meditation to go along with it. And today's focus is going to be all about kidneys. So I'm going to be running through different Eden Energy Medicine techniques along with some Mako Sho stretches, some self acupressure, and different ways for you to look after your kidney energy with some affirmation work. So a lot of people are currently in fear, and fear is what happens when kidney is out of balance. So I'm hoping that by the end of today's class, if you have been feeling fearful, then you can give me some feedback and tell me that that fear has shifted out of your system. I just spent the past few minutes being slightly fearful because I'm using a new platform on my group as opposed to my personal. I couldn't quite figure out how to start a watch party, so little fears were jumping about, and now I can just settle in knowing that technology has worked for me. So that's a minor fear, and daily I look after my fears by working with my kidney meridian, specifically tapping on my K27 points. So we're going to start working there together, and throughout the course of the class I'd like you to join in. Before we begin doing anything, I'd like you to just scan from your head down to your feet. Just check in with your body. You might want to rate it out of 10 how you're feeling. And let me know what different exercises affect you. I've just realised now that time-wise there's a slight difference between me coming online and you watching this, so I might get different feedback a little bit belated. I will try and keep up with your comments as they come along, and this will be edited and re-uploaded later on to YouTube. It's only going to be available now for 4 more weeks. After that point I will be taking them off and creating the Master Meridian course. So right, let's get started. So K27, put your fingers like this, bring your hands straight to the center and just come out an inch down and out on either side, just underneath your collarbone. Now massaging here, you might feel it's a little bit tender. What to do to really shift it, really get this moving, is give it a good hard thump. Now you want to thump it as hard as you can without causing yourself pain. If it's really sore, then just back off a little bit, massage it and tap it lightly. But really, if it's sore, it's probably because you need it, and you tend to need it when you're feeling a little bit sluggish. So throughout the course of the day, whenever you're feeling sluggish, give yourself a good tap on your kidney 27 points, and it gives you a nice wake up charge. And this really helps to stimulate your kidney meridian. Your kidney meridian starts on the base of your foot and ends just at these points here, and this really helps to just reawaken that kidney meridian to work. so you can step out of fear. So about 3 years ago, I was standing on a cliff edge in Loch Lomond, and we had to jump into it. It was about 18 foot cliff jump, and I was absolutely like really not looking forward to it at all. So before I jumped into the cliff, I was tapping here as hard as I could, and then jumped off the cliff edge chanting Namyo Rengekyo, as I, just in case I died, and I wanted that to be the last thing I said. Really glad it wasn't. But yeah, really making sure that you look after your kidneys by tapping in here. Okay. And you've also got some really important kidney points right on the base of your neck. So a lot of people get a lot of tension build up here, and you'll notice probably your neck is a lot sorer after you've been having a lot of coffee or caffeine of any sort and you're dehydrated. And that's because there's kidney points back here that get badly affected by dehydration. So give yourself a good shoulder rub, just working right across the very top of your shoulder, where your shoulder and your neck meets. Really want to look after that whole skin there. I'm going to stick a little bit of coconut oil on for myself. I'm lucky enough to have some sticking about the house. If you can, then you can use a little bit. Just really working in that whole area. If you don't have any oil or cream to hand, then just still work on it. You'll give yourself a myofascial release as opposed to a muscular release, which is still good for you anyway. Really wanting to work in those neck muscles on top of your shoulders, and that really helps to work the lymphatic system that is connected in with your kidneys. So as you work that lymphatic system at the back of your neck, you can just gently start to relax. Just hold on there for a little bit. Take a nice deep breath in and shake it off. Okay. Now when you get fearful, all the blood tends to run to the back of your brain. And it's really important to just remember to yourself, hold on to your head. You know, it's so simple. You've got neurovascular points. If you come straight from your eyes round to the back, just put your hand flat and then hold the front of your head. And this helps to bring the blood from the back of your brain to the front, because when you're stressed out, all the blood tends to go to the back. And this really helps with your kidneys. So when you're feeling fearful, either yourself or you can get a friend to just hold on to here and just gently talk through your fears. And this can be really powerful. Your fears can be really paralyzing sometimes. The affirmation that goes along with kidney is, I step forward with courage. So what is it that is stopping you from being courageous? Think about that. And if you're going to join in watching the meditation at 8 p.m. later, then I would say this is really nice to just hold and lie back and just let your feelings pass, and just acknowledge any fears that come up. I'm going to be reading my meditation with some guidance from the cards, and I've already read the cards, and they're quite maybe challenging for some people. So yeah, let those fears be really worked through. You don't want to just push them under the carpet here. So I'm just going to hold here for a little while. And if you want to hold together with me, you can hold here for as long as you like. You can always pause the video and just lie back, or you can hold here during the meditation. I usually, when I'm working by myself, I usually just hold here until I start to feel a pulsation on my fingers or a sensation of heat. When I'm with a client, then I'll hold here until they tell me themselves that they feel like they can move on to the next thing. So if you're with somebody and you want to hold here, then you can do that for them. Okay. Now, if you were tapping in at your kidney 27 points, then usually that starts to simulate the shift of things. If you were holding there and you didn't really feel much, then it could be that fear is kind of locking in that energy from shifting, it's not letting you move forward. Or it could be a simple energetic shift that's not allowing the energy to flow as well as it should do. And there are two very important points along the kidney meridian that almost block the flow so that that can't be pulled right up to the end of your kidney meridian. So we're going to work with those 2 points in a little while. And I'm just going to get you to hold here for a little while longer. And as you hold here for a little while longer, and just gently let go when you feel like you've got time. Okay. So moving on to the next thing, K7. So basically I usually find the K7 points for myself usually by feeling feeling it where it hurts. But I'm just going to bring up a website so that when I edit this you can actively go to the site and you can find it, because some people like to be very special about exactly holding the right acupressure points. Okay, so if you type in K7, pressure point, so it's kind of half. So yeah. So if you put, you're gonna have to take off your shoes and socks for this one. I'm gonna bring this round so you can see my ankle a bit better. So basically your K7, if you put your hand onto your ankle and keep it nice and flat, where your knuckle lies, just above it, that is your K7 point. And for me, usually, I can find it by kind of working around that general area, because it's not, for every person, when you're working with an acupressure point, it's not always where it says on the picture that you're looking at. It's usually the point where somebody feels a shift. In my case, it's usually painful, or it can be a sensation of you can feel in between the muscles. There's usually a bit of depth there. So just kind of work around that area. So you're going to bring your hand to the ankle flat, and it's just above your fourth finger. And when you hit that point, press in and work it. Massage in there as much as you can. And you're going to put a fair bit of pressure in. And when you put the pressure in, just draw your fingers apart over that point. Okay. Really, your whole energy starts to shift and flow. And for me, it's pretty painful. So if it is for you, then just start moving your fingers in figures of 8. So you don't really want to cause yourself pain. When I say painful, I mean like a slight tenderness around the skin. I don't want to make trip over or jump up and think that there's some kind of attack going on. I just want to allow that energy to flow through the skin and the muscle there. Okay, so that's K7 just there. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So you're going to bring your finger just above the ankle bone. So the fourth finger up, that's where you've got your K7 point. Okay, again, just press in and massage there. Okay. And as you press and massage, again, you might feel it's a little bit sore, a bit tender. Just press on either side, push in and just pull across and allow that energy to flow a little bit more freely. And you'll get the link for exactly where that point is, so you can feel for it yourself. I'll put that in the edited notes and the link to this afterwards. Okay, so now we're going to go on to K9. So basically, when I have somebody that has come to me and said that they have a problem with their kidneys, but they are energetically showing that these points are working fine, but they aren't really feeling that shift, or they still hold on to fears, but these points are showing fine. It's usually because the energy is actually blocked. It's not really giving me the right answer. And K9, it's like it has almost the energy of a small child, where it's kind of going, yes, everything's fine, I know everything's fine, when actually, really, it should just go to bed. You know, when you get little children that are so determined that they are not tired, and then an hour later they collapse after they've cried themselves out. So that is what happens when you work with K9. And K7 together with K9 can really shift things along. So K7 just above the fourth finger, and then you're going to do that once more. So 4 fingers again from that point up, takes you to midway along the calf. And again, this is not exactly correct for every person, so you might kind of work from here and just move your fingers to either side, because the point is, or even a little up or down, just kind of move around until you feel an energetic shift or a little bit of pain. Or you can feel kind of a dip between the muscles. See, mine is kind of there, slightly lower. So just work on that point. Okay. And generally with acupressure points, you'll find that you've got it when it's a little bit sore, sadly. Okay. So working that point, just massaging in there. Feel free to leave me any comments if you feel it's too sore or it's too much. Then let me know. You can always use a little bit of oil to really help the flow. I'm just getting myself a myofascial release working along this point here. So kidney 9 really helps to shift it all out, get everything flowing the way that it should do. And then just bring your pinky and your index finger and just really rub the two together. Give yourself a good massage over both points, really getting that whole kidney meridian to start flowing properly up your shins. Okay, and then the same on the other side. You're going to find your kidney 9 point. So from the fourth finger, and then again from the kidney 7, 4 fingers up once more, and you hit the kidney 9. And again, just kind of work around that general area. You might find it's a little bit below. Yeah, mine is tiny bit below, so maybe 3 fingers rather than 4. But just kind of not always exactly as it is on the pictures, or that accurate, because everybody is so unique. It might just be that my calves are slightly shorter than most acupuncture models, and that's why I'm finding the pain is slightly at 3 fingers rather than 4. We're really just working that whole area, making sure that your kidney meridian is well juiced up. I'm just pulling that part there. once you've got that really well worked, you can just bring your second finger and your pinky finger together and just really rub them both working hard area. Okay, and you can tap them, really tap all the energy, and just bring your whole fingers, just really break up the muscle in that whole calf area. Okay. So, now that you've done that, I can feel a lot clearer already myself. You're going to go on to your neurolymphatics. So your neurolymphatic points for your kidneys are right over your psoas muscle. So your psoas in Chinese medicine is also known as the muscle of the soul, because really it's one of the most powerful muscles. Your kidneys are really doing a lot of work. So the psoas muscle governs your kidneys. It connects your whole pelvis to your legs. It's so powerful. So really massaging in this whole area right around the hip crease, and that helps to shift your whole lymphatic system. You want your neurolymphatics working really well. So self-massage is a really great way to help your neurolymphatic system, just by working right along your hip crease. Okay, and then just going from your belly button, you're going to go a couple of inches. So you've got come from your belly button straight up, and then out to either side you'll feel your rib cage, and you want to go just an inch below where your rib cage is and massage in there. Okay, so this helps your kidney and your lymphatics as well as working on your hips. So your lymphatic, you've got lymphatic points at the back of your neck, which we were massaging, and you've got lymphatic points on the front, and you've also got lymphatics on the back. So this really helps to kind of really trigger things to get shifting along. Okay. And from here, I'm just going to massage, making little figures of eights with your fingers. And then just come out to either side of your rib cage and just go straight back. You'll feel your ribs at the back. And just where your ribs kind of, you can feel where the V is at the bottom of your ribs at the side, go straight back from there. And where you hit the muscle that's right at your back, that is where your kidney alarm points are. And you might find that they're quite tender, especially if you're dehydrated, really pressing in that point as much as you can. I'm digging quite in quite hard with my fingers there. If it's really sore, really tender, don't dig in so hard, but just give it little figures of eights, or you can always come back to it in placing some essential oils or working with a crystal over that area. Really looking after your alarms now. You can always take all your fingers and really rub into that point there, or you can bring your knuckles in and really working that whole area, giving yourself a little massage right over your whole kidneys. Now this might be particularly sore, especially if you're fearful, which is why when a lot of people get scared, they tend to feel that it hits them in the lower back. It's actually their fear coming in. So that's where the term crippled with fear comes in, because you're really incapable of stepping forward with courage and your back just gives in. So really working these points helps to stop that from happening. Okay. Okay. Now you might notice today, well hopefully you don't notice actually, but I am not wearing any eye makeup, and that is because a lot of the exercises that I did in the eye empowerment course deal with your kidneys, because your kidneys, although the meridian officially stops here, there's actually an internal meridian track that goes up to your eyes. So when you're tapping here, you might feel it in your eyes. It would be really interesting feedback if any of you feel a change in your eyesight shift over the course of this class. I think there's probably very few women of my age that would be quite happy to get on online without any eye makeup at all. Something I'm quite pleased about. And I think that's really down to having worked with my kidneys to try and get rid of the dark circles around them. So if that's something that interests you, then please get in touch and I'll show you how you can access my eyesight empowerment course over the next month or so. Okay. So now going to go on to an elemental exercise. So this exercise works with both the kidney and the bladder together. The elemental exercise works with letting go of your fears. So before we begin, I want you to think of a fear that you want to blow away, okay? What fear do you need to let go of today? Now, I am going to bring myself up so that I can curl up. You don't have to. If you want to, you can just rock back and forth on a regular chair, sitting up. If it feels more comfortable, you can just rock like so. I personally feel that the more you can curl up and make this into a yogic move, the more you get an effect on your kidneys. So if you can't do it, then that's absolutely fine. It will still have an impact sitting up. So what you're going to do, just think of any fear that has been bothering you just now. So what fear would I like to blow away? I think I've maybe been I know I've got a fair bit of editing to do tomorrow, so I guess possibly the fear of having to edit and going badly, let's blow that away. So that's going to be my fear that I'm going to focus on. Whatever fear you want to focus on, you're going to imagine it being a little blue light in front of you, so a flame, blue flame, and you're going to blow that out. And as you blow, you're going to make a hoo noise, okay? So blow it and really blow quite hard. So bring your knees up to your chest. Imagine that blue in front of you and just blow out with that. And that exercise, because you're rocking your whole back system, it also impacts your bladder because your bladder meridian sits along your spine. So that impacts both your bladder and your kidney at the same time, and you're working to get rid of your fears. So next week when we're going to be doing bladder, if you want to incorporate that, let me know how you get on with that. That would be grand if you feel like it affects you. That would be good. So if you're dealing with any UTIs, whether you are rocking back and forth or just rocking in your chair, just imagine blowing away that fear. It can be really powerful. So yeah, it can be a really good way of preventing them as well. So now we're going to go onto your feet. So right at the base of your feet you have this wonderful point which the Chinese call the spring of youth, wellspring of youth. So you're going basically from where your second and big toe meet straight down into just below where you have, so you've got like the first bit of your foot, the centre of your foot at the top. That's where you're going to press. And you're going to work that bit quite intensely. And you're going to push in and pull apart. Push in and pull apart. And this really, really helps to draw energy from the earth. So if you're feeling really ungrounded, really floaty, then really working your feet, stretching them apart, specifically working on this point can be really, really powerful. And Donna Eden, at one point, she had got herself, she was feeling really ungrounded, and she actually slept for quite a while with magnets strapped to this point, which I wouldn't necessarily advise unless you know what you're doing with magnets, but it was really powerful. Just let me know how powerful it can be working with this point. Okay, so just pulling that apart, and doing the same on the other side. So going from this joint between your second and big toe, just below that, like a few inches below, and you're just going to press in, massage that whole area, and push in and pull apart. Push in, pull apart, push in and pull apart. And really just feeling that whole fascia stress across your whole foot. Just be relieved. Okay? And what you can do is take a little crystal like so. If you have access to these little crystal balls, they're super powerful, really great to work with acupressure points. If you have quartz crystals or amethyst crystals, that's also handy and useful, but these are super cheap and cheerful, quite helpful, and you're just going to use it on that little point of your foot. And it really helps to stimulate the auric field to start bringing energy up through your feet. And if you don't have one of these little crystals to hand, you can always just use your hands and just imagine colours coming through them, or if you know the Reiki symbols, you can imagine a Reiki symbol working through that specific point. I don't do a Reiki session on anybody without working this point with the feet. So, okay. Right, so continuing working on your feet, you're just going to come behind the ankle bone. So right here, it might actually be a little bit hard for you to see. So I'm going to bring my foot like so you can see a bit better. So right here, where your ankle bone is, that's where you're going to be working. Okay, so that point right there. Okay, I'm going to come back. So this is known as kidney 3, and it's the source point for your kidneys. And so I'm going to be working like so. I want to be able to get in quite deeply and work along the side of my whole ankle bone. So you can work right along the back edge of your ankle bone to get in at your kidney 3. And you're just going to be pressing it or moving your fingers in figures of 8 to really stimulate this point. This point here is known as the source point, which means it gives a direct energy hit to the kidney organ itself, as opposed to just the meridian. And you can just tap in there as well, really help to stimulate that. And really helping that to move up. I've got a little nodule in there. I'm going to work that a bit more later on. Okay. So just again, pushing in with either thumb and pulling apart, just drawing the energy and the skin apart over that acupressure point. And then just doing the same on the other foot, so right behind your ankle bone, just coming to that K3 point, pushing in and just pulling apart. as you push in and pull apart on that point, you can really feel an energetic shift coming right up to your kidneys. You might feel like me, it's actually quite tender, so if you do feel that way, then you can always come back to it later and give it a little bit of extra TLC with some cream or some oil. I'm not going to work on it too much just now, because when I find a point that's really sore, I think it's better to work little and often rather than to overwhelm it. So I'm just going to take note that that's sore. If you felt that way about any of the ones that we've worked on so far, then just take a note of which ones need a little bit of work later on. So I'm going to come back to my ankle bones later on. Okay, now I'm going to flush the kidney. Okay, so now that we've kind of worked through all of the different specific acupressure points along the kidney, you can easily flush out everything that you don't want to hold on to. So your kidney draws energy up from your feet to your collarbone and then up to your eyes. What you want to do is just drain it all out first of all, let go of it all, and then you're going to replenish yourself. So imagine just getting a lot of static built up in your hands first of all. Think about any fears that you've been holding on to that are stuck in your body, and just bring your hands to your collarbone, and you're just going to imagine pushing those fears down. Just pushing them right out of your body, and working your way straight down the kidney meridian. Jump up here. So straight down your thighs, straight down your ankles. When you get to your ankles, make a little circle and then come off your feet and just hold onto your K1 flex. Okay? If you're standing, then great. If you can't hold your feet while you're standing, that's absolutely fine. If you can't, just lean over as far as you can, but try to keep your back straight so that you're not bending over and causing extra pressure on your shoulder muscles. Okay. And then from your feet, you're going to press in, draw a little circle around your ankle bone, straight up your legs, straight up your whole torso, and then tap K27 once more. Breathe deeply. And just once more, bring your hands to your feet, little circle around your ankles, straight up your legs, tap your K27. And once more, coming from your feet, around your ankles, straight up your legs, to your K27. Okay. Okay. So, as I was saying, you can always do that, just reaching up gently, stretching over and touching your toes and pulling up on the kidney point, or you can do it seated. So this is one of the Makoho stretches. So last week I was teaching you the Makoho stretch for the large intestine, where you had your hands behind your back. This way it's the opposite, so you're going to touch your toes. So stretch up and reach forward. And it doesn't necessarily matter if you can bring your head to your back, your knees. Would matter if you brought your head to your back, that'd be a bit odd. If you can bring your head to your knees, then great. If not, then just do it a little bit often, but try to keep your shoulders down. You don't want to be bringing your shoulders up just so you can touch your toes, okay? So bring your shoulders up, but hold them up by your lats. You don't want to be tensing your muscles up here, okay? Bring your shoulders up, nice deep breath in, and then bend forward and touch your toes. And bring your shoulders down. And if you can touch your toes while you're holding on to the kidney one point, then that's fantastic. Okay. And lastly, we're going to be working with the penetrating flow. So the penetrating flow is a great way to ensure that everything that you've worked with up to this point really penetrates your whole system, and you can go ahead knowing that everything that you've worked with so far is going to stay in there and really integrate itself. Your penetrating flow starts just at the back, so it's on your Ming Men point, so it's directly opposite your belly button but on your back. So you're going to start just by massaging that, just giving it a nice wee jiggle, and then coming down and over your glutes. Okay, give yourself a little glute massage, and then you're going to just bring your hands around to either side of your pelvis. Take a nice deep breath in and just draw your hands straight up to your mouth. And breathe out, let go. Okay. And just a couple more times, you're just going to massage around your back, over your glutes, straight up in front of your torso. And lastly, round, straight up. Deep breath in and out. Okay, so that was the penetrating flow. That's the last little exercise that I taught you. If you just joined in now, don't worry, I'm just going to run over everything that I've been taught up to this point, and you can catch up the replay later, but I'm just going to quickly go through everything so you know what you have missed out, or you can just catch up quickly. So, first of all, K27, just below your collarbone. Give that a good tap every day, every time you feel a little bit sluggish. Massage the back of your neck, just where your neck and your shoulders join. When your kidney neurovasculars are right behind your eyes on the back and at the front of your head. Oh, I forgot. There's also kidney neurovasculars on either side of your eye, just at the edge of your eye. Okay, so when you're doing the meditation, you might want to just hold on to here, or you can bring 2 fingers here and 2 fingers up onto your forehead, whichever feels most comfortable for you. So, yeah, I've forgotten about this one. So I might go through that once more. Just really, whichever neurovascular feels most comfortable for you, you can do that. Kidney 7 and 9. So kidney 7 is 4 fingers from your ankle up your calf, and kidney 9 is the same again. Okay, here and there. You can massage them there to really help your kidney meridian get flowing when it feels stuck. Neurolymphatics are right over your psoas muscle and 2 inches from your belly button up and out, just below your rib cage and there. And alarm points are directly at your back. Okay, and there. Okay, and really massaging there. Okay. And then you've got the elemental exercise, which is just breathing in, imagining that blue flame in front of you and blowing it away with a okay, and stretching out the kidney point right at the base of your foot here. Your solar point is in at your ankles here, and flushing the kidney meridian, really just pushing everything off of your big feet straight down and then drawing it straight back up. If you can touch your toes, then that's fantastic. Try to work. If you can try to work just touching your toes a little bit each day, that will naturally have a great impact on your kidneys. If you've got any questions, any feedback on how you can look after your kidney, on what fears are coming up, perhaps you notice that when you do one of these exercises, an energetic shift happens, or perhaps you've got something that you had been scared about but it's been sitting in the background, and it's made itself noticeable. So hopefully you can work with that to shift things over. So shortly I'm going to be going on to the meditation at 8 o'clock. I really hope that this class has been helpful for you. If you want to know more, then please contact me. I'm doing in-person remote sessions, teaching people even energy medicine. So all of these points that I've taught you today can be really helpful for everybody that's dealing with kidney issues. Will be really helpful for everybody anyway. But if you want something unique to you and you have a special issue that you want me to look at, then please get in touch. Okay, so whenever you can, get in touch with me and let me know what I can do to help, and hopefully I will see you at 8 o'clock. Okay, thank you, bye bye.